How's it going? So I'll show you exactly why you cannot win games in League of Legends. I'll show you. Like this is caught on camera the best thing you can probably like the best explainer. Look, I am omega fed. This is against bots naturally because I'm doing experimentation, right? I am omega fed. Omega fed. 14 kills, blah blah blah. Look at my gold. Right, this is Malphite, Leona, and Amumu tanks, hard CC tanks, right? So look what happens. I don't have my ult, so I wanted to test: can I actually kill them? Right? I'm 5 levels up, on all of them, and 6 levels up on Amumu. Look, at what point do I actually move? So okay, I'm CC'd. Now I move one time. Now I'm free to move. Okay? And look at my health. I already lost 80% of my health. And I made one step. So far, I technically only made one auto attack, right? And look. So that's second auto attack. That's it. Again, just look at like how are you going to... It's like the game design just disallows it. Do you see the problem? Alright, the problem is, okay, if you're playing a... Man, I need to get rid of this somehow. Okay, if you're playing a squishy champion like Riven, Tryndamere, let's say to some extent Jax, Master Yi, Talon, anything that does a lot of damage and can carry, you run into problem of not being able to kill tanks at all. Right? Because like you're not gonna kill Malphite as Talon, you're not gonna kill him as Riven. There's no way to do it, right? Even if they're severely under-leveled, it's the same problem with Alistar. Like I was complaining about Alistar because CC tanks have base damage, and when there is 3 of them, there's no way for you to actually deal with it, right? Because you just don't do enough damage. You could say lifesteal, but I mean, if you don't do any damage, what are you gonna lifesteal off? So that's one problem. One problem is you don't do enough damage. Problem number two is the crowd control. I mean, you've seen it here, and this is me having the magical runes. Let me just see when I'm alive. Yeah, look. You will say, oh, buy the magical runes, get the magical runes. Look, I already have them stacked. So I have 20 tenacity here, and 10. So I have 30 tenacity, and I was still unable to move. Now, this is why I take cleans. So with cleans, it's not a problem, but I mean, you're talking 3.5 minutes cooldown. And again, okay, even if you cleanse yourself, how are you gonna do damage? You don't do damage. So naturally, get good kids who don't play this game, who only watch streams, they're gonna say, oh, get Ninja Tabi. Dude, if you get Ninja Tabi on Tryndamere and you're against Malphite with Frozen Heart, it becomes impossible. In fact, anyone with Frozen Heart, because you have to counter Frozen Heart with these boots. Because you have to remember that Lethal Tempo is, you have to stack it 6 times. So you have to hit something 6 times. And if you don't have enough attack speed, you'll be doing it for like a minute. So you need up front to have some form of attack speed so you can stack it quickly. So you can then deal damage. But if you're removing 35% attack speed, dude, the Frozen Heart guys are just gonna walk up to you and you'll be like there for like 45 seconds not able to do anything because you simply don't have enough attack speed to do those attacks. And again, crowd control. What do you do against crowd control? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, the game design just forbids you to carry the game in any shape or form. You just cannot do it. Because you're gonna run into this. Here you are, like, I don't know, you are Omega fed. Like, you can't even move. Do you know what I'm saying? So, okay, again, well, let's talk about it. We can remove the ability of crowd control. So we cleanse it, right? It's still gonna take you, like, a very long time to kill them. And their cooldowns are gonna get back. So by the time you kill 3 champions that are severely, like, look at their gold. I mean, they have no gold. They are under-leveled, under-farmed. All they have is just 1 item. And you have to expend all of your resources just to deal with that alone. So, how are you gonna carry the game? You can't 1v5 in this game at all. Because, your teammates, we're talking about a scenario where your entire team is omega useless. Omega useless, right? So, they have a fed ADC, they have 3 tanks, and they have a mid laner who is okay on the enemy team. On your team, let's say you have, let's hypothetically speaking, what happens in loser's queue? Typical loser's queue, right? What happens? You have, I don't know, let's say bot lane, they already dead. It's time for Dragon, they have probably already died. So there's 3 players left. Your mid laner is Ari, who is 0-7. She's not gonna be useful. And your support is Janna, who can offer you a shield. Right? So now 3 of you somehow have to take out this shit and deal with the mid laner and the ADC as well. So how exactly are you planning to do it? Even if you're, I don't know, let's say we give you level 18, it's still not gonna make a difference. We can add another item to you, it's still not gonna make a difference because you won't be able to kill these guys, right? So even if you do somehow, by some kind of stroke of magic, kill the enemy ADC and the mid laner, these guys are gonna finish you off, despite the fact that you are severely higher numbers than they are, and you have a lot more items. Because there is no way to deal with this. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's the problem, that is why algorithm can just basically screw you over at any point in time. So that's what I'm saying, is that this is completely, because I watch those guys and it's so obvious that there is an algorithm, because some days they're just like winning all the time, some days they're just losing all the time, and it's like, and it really depends on how, it's like, well, the algorithm decides when you win or not, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, you don't decide. Like, the only way to deal with this is game rotation. But again, game rotation is coin flipping. Now, of course, people are gonna say, oh, 80%, or if you're a good player, you're gonna win 80% of the time, but you're still gonna have days, sometimes 2 or 3 days in a row, where you just lose and lose and lose and lose, and you can't outplay this. There's no way to outplay this. So do you see what I'm saying, is that psychologically, why in League you don't get satisfaction from winning at all? At all. Because your winning is because you are not exposed to this situation. Right? Well, let me draw it out. 1 second. Yeah, so I found it. Look, here's Uli. Uli is the X. He was rank 2 on EU West. 2000, I don't remember. It was 2019, 2020, something like that, maybe. Could be 2021. I don't remember. It was when Trinda, when you had true damage with your Conqueror, I think. No. That was season after that. Yeah, they removed it. But basically, he is extremely good player. Extremely, right? So look at his team. Look, 0-7, 0-6, 0-6, 0-7. So the score is 6 kills, right? 6 kills, and they're all on one person, which is Uli. And again, look, they have Thresh and they have Ornn. And they have Nidalee who can kite. This guy can kite. Draven can kite. So, at what point, how does he win the game? Like Draven, 15 kills. Another problem I see, gigantic problem with losers queue, is that for you to get a kill, you have to sweat your balls off. I'm talking like really, really, really sweat your balls off. And then when you look at the replay or the Twitch stream of the player who is in the losers queue, your teammates are just running it down. I'm talking like it's so easy for Draven to get kills because this guy is just literally running it down. And they're like dying and dying and dying. And you think to yourself, shit, how am I gonna kill this Ornn 15 times in like, what was the time in here? I think it was like 20 minutes or some shit like that. It was just impossible to watch. I don't see time in here. Okay, so Baron is up, it's 20, let's see. Yeah, 20 minutes. Yeah, you see in here, we have 2016. How are you gonna kill Ornn 1 time per minute? There's no way to do it. And I had the same experience, like, look, I played, like, I was like Omega fed Nasus, Omega fed. And these guys they just keep dying. And dying and dying, and then this guy just AFK'd at some point. And I mean, like, what is this big, dude? So again, we're back to this situation where your team is useless, right? So you're either completely alone, or you have one other teammate who is somewhat useful. He's not Omega fed, but he's somewhat useful. Like, there's a scenario called Batman and Robin, right? How are you gonna deal with this? There is no... By game design, you simply cannot do it. So why is it not satisfying to win games in League of Legends? That's because there is no solution to the box of death. We can call it the box of death or loser's queue, whatever the hell you want to call it. And it goes like this. The enemy team is Omega fed. I'm talking like your team is just feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding. Like in this scenario here. Right? They have hard CC tanks or something that can hard CC you, which is like Ornn, Trash. You can say that, you know, Echo to some extent, his slow is obnoxious, honestly. Your team is useless, we already seen it. And you can't carry because you either get CC'd or you simply don't do enough damage. In this case, Jax, okay fine, Jax is a mixed damage dealer. But if you're playing like Riven or Tryndamere, they're just gonna stack armor, and that's it, you just don't do enough damage. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not satisfying to win, because in the back of your mind, every single game you win, you play, oh my god, please not box of death, please not box of death, please not box of death, boom, box of death. And there is no way to fix this. Do you understand? That's why you will never get satisfaction from League, because you don't truly win a game, you just get lucky that the box of death did not happen. Like, I had games where I get like bazillion wins, whatever, astronomical amounts of kills and shit like that, right? Because I tested a lot of stuff. I see, okay, can Tryndamere work with cleans, for example, right? And he does work really, really well. So you see what I'm saying is that, like, it's kind of like pointless to play the game because there is no solution to the box of death, and the only solution is, oh, play more games. Because that's what people tell you. Oh, if you play 100 million games, or whatever, 100,000 games, you know, if you're a good player, on average, you're going to climb. Yes, but if you factor in how much time and stress to your body, because knowing that there is literally no way to fix this. Like, think about some kind of a game where, I don't know, tennis, right? You're playing and you're losing to some player or whatever, some kind of situation. You can go and you can, with skill and practice, you can overcome this hindrance or this bottleneck, and you can move to the next level, right? In League, that's not possible because of the game design. There is no way, again, what I'm saying is that there is no way to outplay this, right? Because, okay, Even with cleans, you're removing slows, you're removing stuns, but what are you gonna do against knockups? Champions like Poppy, Malphite, Zac, who he can knock you up like 3 times. Gragas, who has you like he can just like the belly flop is like right. Okay, you can cleanse his slow. You can cleanse his slow, right? But he will steal every 3 seconds. He's going to slow you down with his belly thing, right? And he can disposition you with his barrel, right? Alistair can knock you up. There are so many. Like another one is Rakan. It's another story. This champion is just another Alistair, basically, right? So that's not gonna work because you can't cleanse. Now you're gonna say play Olaf. All right, Olaf is not Tryndamere. He will not be able to get 20 kills by like 20 minutes. It's not possible as Olaf because he's a like to get kills on Olaf, the enemy player has to be trolling, honestly, because Olaf kill potential without ult is so limited because he has no gap closing. He has no like his engage is just and his Ragnarok. It's like you get 1 second boost in speed. I mean, dude, seriously, and it like they can just flash out and that's it, and you're done. Your ability to kill them is done. You know what I'm saying? So you can farm, but I mean, League of Legends. I mean, seriously, like what are you gonna have 100 more farm than the other guy? It's not gonna help you. Because I already tried that many times. At some point I was testing not killing the enemy and just denying them farm and purely winning by farm. It worked a long time ago, but now because of the objectives. I mean, think about one dragon gives like 750 gold in value. 750. They take 2 dragons, like you just can't farm that much. Well, you're gonna take everybody's farm, and I actually, believe it or not, tried to get a Hydra. And just said, okay, forget about those shitters. I'm just gonna farm in here. I basically decimated, I don't know, whatever the champion, Fiora, I think I was playing against. And I literally tried to farm in here. But what happens is then your team becomes even more useless. Because now you're taking their experience. Do you understand? So, like, it's not gonna help you. Like, your team needs to be, at least they can tank. If they have experience, they can at least tank or distract somehow. But if you're taking their farm, you're gonna run into, like again, we're gonna run into this problem where even if I add another 20,000 gold on top of this, it's not gonna help you. Because you have to factor in that now your teammates are omega useless. They are like level 6 and the enemy is like level 14. And now you have omega fed ADC last hitting you. And you have 3 tanks and you just can't move. Right? And like I said before, even if you do somehow by stroke of magic, manage to kill their mid lane and their ADC, right? What are you gonna do with these tanks? Because they're gonna see you. You have no ult, no cleans. Your ghost is probably still up, right? But your ult is ending. You can't lifesteal because you don't do any damage. So they will, for sure, 100% gonna finish you off. Your ADC and your mid laner probably is already dead. Your jungler is trolling because he's probably taking jungle camp somewhere here. So the only and your Janna gave you 2 shields in the whole team fight. So do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not fun to play League because even when you do win, you're thinking to yourself, "Holy shit!" Right? I hope I'm not gonna get the box of death, which was kind of still okay because you could dodge, right? But now they're like, "Nope, no more dodging. See you later." Now you can't see your teammates. And then if you go into normals, right? Where, for example, normal draft, right? I know you can see teammates in a normal draft. Oh, in normals you can't even do that anymore because they removed the fast play or whatever it's called now. I saw some players play it, and you don't even have a lobby in normals. It's just straight into the game, so you can't even research your teammates. But I know in normals draft you can research your teammates. But again, in normals most people play a premade. So you have a premade team against random players, and you're not gonna win against 5 players that are premade. Because they're probably all playing with friends who are smurfing, and they're just there to beat the shit out of you. And you'll be the only competent player on your team. Do you know what I'm saying? So you're basically back into this issue here. So you see, this is what I'm saying, is that like the algorithm can simply push you to 50% at any point in time because it has this secret weapon that cannot be outplayed. And you can say, oh, you're a shitter, get good. This is rank 1, well, rank 2 player on EU West, and he cannot do it. He cannot do it. You will not get better than this guy. He's a full-time, well, he's full-time streamer. He plays League of Legends full-time. He's not very consistent with his schedule, but he is a full-time gamer of League of Legends, and he cannot do it. He cannot do it. And he is quite young. I think he would be, I'm not sure what is his age. Let me see if I can find it. One sec. Whoopsie, whoopsie, whoops. Yeah, so he's 21, right? From Sweden. So he's would be in his prime gaming years. Because we know that, I mean, in gaming, it's like if you're over 24, 25, you start to really fall down. But he's in prime. He's in prime. Which means when this game was played, like he was probably like 19 or something like that, right? So his mechanics, his reflexes are on point. So, I mean, he can't do it. You know what I'm saying? He just cannot do it. Faker cannot do it. Faker has 53% win rate. And the weapon of engagement optimized matchmaking is this. There is like multiple ways it can screw you over, right? Because, okay, if it puts you with shitters, but you're against some champions like Lux, Caitlyn, support is some kind of Janna, top lane, let's say jungler is like Kayn, who is not very good, top lane is whatever, Fiora, right? Okay, fine. I can just, I can 1v5 that, that's no problem. But engagement optimized matchmaking says, okay, my man, you won too many games in a row. Let's say you win 6 or whatever, 5-6 games in a row. It's time for you to lose. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put shitters on your team, and I'm gonna put competent players who play tanks and OP champs on the enemy team. And then that's it. That's game over for you. You're gonna dodge, you're gonna dodge, you're gonna dodge, you're gonna dodge. Well, the only way to outplay this, to be honest with you, is just to dodge, but I mean, you're talking 4 hours per game, it's like not viable. Again, you see, you will have no satisfaction of winning because you basically, for 4 hours spent, you get one win, and then you think to yourself, holy shit, I've been dodging for 4 hours. It could be the case where you'll be, I had a day where I played one game and the rest of the time it was like 12 hours, I was dodging for the whole day. It was when I was doing 100% win rate Nasus in Russian server. I did get like 100%, but Jesus, holy shit, I played like 6 games in total in, I think it was like 5 days or something like that. So you have to understand, I was playing one game per day. The rest of the time I was just dodging. And you're thinking to yourself, holy shit, what a waste of time. And what do you get at the end of the day? What do you get? You get nothing, you know? Just to outplay the algorithm, because algorithm has the secret weapon against you. And it knows there is no counterplay to this. Because the game design forbids winning in this scenario. So, I mean, what's the point in playing? How are you gonna, like, there's no way. That's what I'm saying, that it's impossible to win in League of Legends. You can only get lucky with the coin flip. And that's it. Right? And this idea of, oh, rotate more games and you're gonna climb. Dude, I'm not interested in climbing. I want to know, how do I win? When I wake up and, let's say I come from work, I want to log into a lobby and be 100% confident that I can carry and win the game with my skill. As opposed to sitting there and thinking to myself, oh, lords and spirits of engagement optimized matchmaking, please bless me with good teammates and no box of death games, please. Do you understand? I'm at the mercy of the system. And you get tilted, humans as animals, well, we can think about as an animal, right? Human, psychologically, get tilted when you lose control. And I don't see any control over having a box in the game which is unsolvable, because this scenario is unsolvable. You cannot solve it, because the game design forbids it. Do you understand? It's like you're playing games. You're some kind of karate master. A wooden log comes in. Boom! You can punch through it. Another wooden log comes in. You can punch through it. Let's say, I don't know, some kind of bamboo stick comes in. You can punch through it, right? Some kind of a heavy red wood comes in. With enough force, if you train yourself well, you can punch through it. But then they send you a freaking concrete block. Your body cannot punch through a concrete block. Like, I'm talking about proper concrete. I know there are some concrete blocks you can punch through, but I'm talking about like a construction grade. Because your bone is just not dense enough to punch through it, right? So, engagement optimized matchmaking be like, aha, this guy won too many games, let me just send few bricks his way, the concrete blocks, and he's just gonna lose. So, every time you punch through a wooden log, you're thinking to yourself, holy shit, I hope the next one is not gonna be the brick. Because if it is, I'm screwed. Do you understand? That's why, psychologically, you never get satisfied from playing League, because you're just getting lucky in a way, because you're just like praying that this shit is not gonna happen to you, and it will. It always happens, you know. Because, like, unless there is a solution to this problem, it's pointless to play League. It's pointless, because when you're winning, you're not getting satisfaction, and when you're losing in the box of death, it's just you're just wasting your time, you know. And this idea of, oh, spam multiple games, you're gonna win, it just feels like you're just spamming games and the system is rewarding you for spamming a lot of games. So are you actually even good? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like that question. That's why I tell people play one-on-one, because for a fact you can say that your decision making, your gameplay, your mechanics, your wave management is on point and better than the enemy who picked whatever. Because he can pick Tryndamere, he can pick Warwick, he can pick champions that are strong. He can practice. Tryndamere doesn't take a lot of practice, right? But the fact that I beat almost every Tryndamere I ever play against, not always on the first one, well, most of the time on the first one, even if I do lose, sometimes I don't take Tryndamere players seriously, because, you know, they're usually don't main them. Most of the time I play serious, I always win, right? So you can, for a fact, 100% say that you are superior to the other player. Whereas in this shit, I mean, let's say you are on the opposite side and you went 0-5 against some Riven, and then your bot lane just melted the Riven. Just melted. Like, I'm talking, Nautilus just exhausted her, used his ult, Misfortune just clicked R, and she just disappeared off the map. Are you really gonna be happy about this win? Even though you went 0-5, Riven absolutely smashed you, but your team just carried you, because, and you look at the enemy team and you say, holy shit, okay, their mid laner is like already AFK. He's like level 4. Their bot lane is like not even in the game. Their support is Soraka, who is building damage items, maxing Q. I don't know why she's maxing Q, right? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like that win is just not satisfying at all. So until they come up with some kind of solution to this box of death, where, I mean, even if they give you points for, even if you're like the best player, how are you gonna get the time back? You know, you won't be able to get the time back. Oh, anyway, I'm back to the same conclusions. Like, I always try different methods, research. Is League playable game? And the answer is no. There is no way to play it. Like, you can only play one-on-one against bots, or custom with your friends, 5-man queue. Oh, by the way, one sec. I screwed, this video is long enough, right? Because this is gonna be another 20-minute video inside this video. But basically, the guy I was talking about, challenger player, rank 2. Hold on a sec, we can find him, right? Yeah, so this guy here, so he is challenger, rank 2 on the EU West server. So people were. I wasn't aware that you can actually. Well, I was aware that you can game the engagement optimized matchmaking system, but I did it myself. But in ranked flex queue, it's actually a lot easier to do. So that's the guy. If you look at who he's playing with, you will see a pattern of players that are hard inting games. Right? So what they're doing is, you see, they have like 0 win rates, very low win rates on some champs, and a lot of games spammed. Do you see? So what they're doing is they're basically they are tanking the MMR of other players, and then they queue up with him, so they will be matched. So he's like a challenger player. I don't know what the rules are, because honestly I have no idea how this flex rank works. But in theory, let's say the minimum you have to play. Well, you can do it this way, right? So if you're a challenger player, and the minimum you can play is Emerald with to queue up with the player Emerald, you can tank 4 players Emeralds into like gold, well, like low platinum by MMR, because it takes very long time for an account to be deranked from a tier, like from, let's say, Emerald to gold. It takes, you have to like int like 20 games or so, right? So you can get it to like gold, and then you queue up with a challenger player. You get you're placed against gold team, and you just smash them, right? Because that's gonna be a bot game for you. And then you see, so you can see in here that what they do is that's exactly what they do. They int games, and when they play together, they play well. They int games, they play together, they play well, and then they swap accounts. I also noticed, because you see that there are the players he plays with, he is the constant, but everybody else keeps changing. So you see, my guess is they might be wanting to sell this account or do something. But do you see what I'm saying? It's like 27 games, 0 win rate, 24 games, 0 win rate. I mean, that's not normal. It's really, really not normal. So there's definitely some kind of shenanigans happening. So you see, you can game an algorithm. You can just game this algorithm. And people are like, no, engagement optimized matchmaking does not exist. Sure, this guy is abusing it. I was abusing it hardcore through dodging system, because I know for a fact that the system exists, right? So you can, if you know that it exists, you know how it works, you can kind of abuse it. So these guys, you see, that's exactly what they're doing, because you have to factor in that when I was deranking my iron account, like to iron, I wanted to, well, I was inting hard, but I wasn't, to avoid getting banned, but I wanted to see, because algorithm always pushes you to 50%, you have to remember, always pushes you to 50%. So, if you're winning, it's gonna push you down, so your teammate's gonna get shit, and the enemy team is gonna get really, really good. Reverse is true. If you're inting, your team is gonna get good, but the enemy team is gonna get dog shit, right? And that's exactly what was happening. Exactly. Like, bang on. As I was playing Iron, I was like, I had 18% win rate. Holy shit, I still remember this. To this day, I was doing everything possible to lose the game. I was playing like support Trindamir, I think, with Smite, so I was taking my jungler's farm, and we still won the game. Can you imagine? Like, I looked at the enemy team, they had 13,000 gold advantage, and they had 3 dragons. It was like, if you combine, and they took a Baron, and they still lost the game. Can you imagine how shit you have to be in order to lose the game like this? And then think to yourself, how are you going to win if you have these guys on your team? They couldn't win with 17,000 gold advantage, right? That's because algorithm is like, okay, this guy lost too many games, you know, we need to make sure he doesn't get demoralized. Let's put some extreme shitters on the enemy team. And that game was carried, but one Draven basically just, and he was alone on the bot lane, because I went to screw up my jungler. And I remember I also screwed up our mid laner, who was Yasuo, I think. And he quit for 5 minutes because I was taking his farm. I was like, yeah, he rage quitted. Okay, that's gonna be a loss, 100%. Nope, he came back and the enemy team ended up losing. That's why I watched that replay. I couldn't believe it. I was like, there is no way. There is no way. Probably bots would have even won this game, right? And they somehow ended up losing the game. I was like, that's when I definitely, for sure, 100% was convinced that engagement optimized matchmaking for sure exists. Because if you have shitters like this, and if you put 4 of them on your team, there is no way you're gonna win. There is no way. Well, of course, if the enemy team picks champions that are like Lux, Misfortune, that with Tryndamere or Master Yi, you can kind of right-click them to death if you get fed enough, right? But if they have tanks, I mean, you cannot do it. Oh, so that's my rant for today. Anyway, so what did we learn? League, not playable game. 1-on-1 or against bots, or play something else, because I mean this game, until they fix this somehow, it's just, and get rid of engagement optimized matchmaking, there's just no way to play it, you know. I want to try it, but I mean, like, shit, how like there's just no way to play it, you know. There's no way to psychologically justify playing it, apart from 1-on-1 and maybe board games. All right, take care, bye bye.